YouTube, I'm still alive. To the people who commented wondering what happened, I'm not dead. I'm here. Everything's fine. I just haven't been uploading, obviously. Now, this video, I've had it done for I don't even know how long. I just had to make an intro for it. So, am I lazy YouTube-wise? Yeah, super lazy. Just been working on house stuff mainly and kind of put cars to the side, unfortunately. I still have everything, though. That's not like I'm pulling away from it completely or anything. But here's the final video to the turbo ZHP build, and it is done, and the customer's had it for I don't even know how long now. It's been done. It's not like I never finished the car or something happened with it. It's all good. So here you go, guys. I apologize. It will probably happen again. I don't want it to. We'll see. The filter pipe is in from Jacob. I installed it. Awesome clearance. Way better than the way I did my last setup on my last series. This is actually a legit pipe that he made where it fits. It's not just a 45 coming up and hitting the manifold. This one actually clears it. And these AC lines, as you guys know, some of you may know, you can just bend them out of the way. You will have to bend the big line out of the way and you'll have plenty of clearance under there. Now, the good news is with Jacob's pipe is he has a lot of room there, so I didn't need to bend it that far, but it doesn't hurt anything. That was just out of habit, how I usually do it. And then you can see way back there, the wastegate pipe, turbo, you can kind of see down there. Everything's coming together. The hard stuff is finally coming to an end, and the rest is just gonna be a basic M50 conversion, which is a really easy intake swap. For the M50 intake manifold swap, you guys probably already know all this. It doesn't use all the studs, so you'll wanna remove, I think it's just 2 studs. You'll know once you put the M50 manifold up against there, and then you need to block off each of these holes, each of those little ports, and you just use a set screw. I think it's a 3/8. It comes with the Seems Legit Garage conversion kit, and you just run those in and you plug all those. So that's all you got to do. That takes all of a couple minutes, not even a couple minutes. I just impact them in and they bottom out and everything's fine. It seems scary, but you just run those set screws in all those holes. That's all there is to that. Okay, so I pulled the old MS45 crap out of here, and this is the MS43. I put it in a new tray thingy. I don't know if I think I made a clip showing that. And it just drops right in. And I had to repair a couple wires that had butt connectors on them. So I soldered them and heat shrinked them. Did the right thing for once. Bam, just like that. Sits right in there. Everything's good, perfect. I mean, I haven't plugged this one in yet because I have to put the actual engine harness in here. But now that I have this ran back here, I'm gonna go ahead and run the 2 O2 sensors and the transmission plug. I'm gonna run that. That way I can go ahead and plug in the rest of my engine harness, have it chilling in here, and get my M50 manifold ready to go ahead and bolt up. You need a MAF that'll work with this, but we'll be going to a PMIS MAF from B Racing Tuning with its own harness that directly plugs into the MS43 harness. But if you weren't turbo and using that MAF, you will need to get a B30 MAF or an MS43 MAF, the correct one depending on what engine you're using. And you also have to get a intake air temperature sensor that goes in the manifold because the MS45 MAF has that built into it. That's why it's different. That's why it's a different plug. That's why the MS45 doesn't have intake air temperature on the manifold. You'll see a plug in there instead. So that's the differences. Other than that, that's all there is to it. This all plugs in. If you're going from MS42 to MS43, it's a little more complicated, but it's not what this video is about. It's not what we're dealing with, thankfully. Going from MS45 to MS43 is just literally plug and play. So you just have to get the intake temperature and the correct MAF. Here we have an MS43 engine harness from eBay. I used to go to the junkyard, but it's too far away now. So eBay comes in clutch sometimes. I'm gonna go ahead and literally plug this in. everything's gonna plug in besides the alternator. So that'll be the only thing we're not gonna be able to just directly plug in. I'm just gonna be using this one for now. If it doesn't work, I'll be putting an MS43 one in it, I guess. But I've pulled it off in the past where I just changed the plug on the harness. Just don't quote me on that, but it's worked for me somehow. It might not supposed to work, but it did. So we're gonna go with that. And then this all looks really good over here. MS43 ECU in there. Everything's ready to just be plugged in. There it is, plugged into the ECU and the rest of the plugs in this box. This plug here and here are for your ignition coils. Obviously, you just run all these to their sensors and you're good to go. That stuff is pretty straightforward and the same. Oh man, it's in the injector clips, the forbidden injector clips. Well, I probably have a million of those laying around. Oh, well, I also have a million MS45 harnesses laying around. I'm over exaggerating, probably five. So I definitely can find those. But this is going super smooth, super easy. It is M50 intake manifold time. Just gonna show you guys what I'm gonna use here. Not gonna show every step of this. This series is about turbo in a car. There's plenty of videos about M50 swapping and M54, but I'm just gonna show you guys the stuff I ordered at least. So I got this here. It's for the ICV. It is, I mean, it's beautiful. It seems extremely overkill, but it sure does look pretty. But this is for the ICV, it goes right here. If you do not replace the factory one with this boost proof one, it will blow right out of there. And it is one heck of a vacuum leak. As you can tell, that is yeah. And then the ICV hoses, of course, can be ordered on bracing.com. And then this is a pretty important part. I didn't want to have to epoxy or attempt to thread a factory temperature sensor, if I can get this out of here. So you can buy the threaded ones from Beamer World. And that's what I did. I just want to do it right for once. I usually try to thread them myself or epoxy them in. If you don't understand why you have to do this, this uses an OBD1, is that right? Temperature sensor? Oh, yep. Guys, you're bombing my video. You do every video now. You need the OBD2 sensor, and the OBD1 uses threads. The 2 uses a clip on the M54 manifold. You ever notice those? And since we're going to MS43, we need a sensor. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on the new gaskets and put this stuff together and find where the idle control valve is while he makes sure I have everything, I guess. Dude, why you gotta be like this, man? You always come in here when I'm making a video. Quick side note, always cut the stock boot alignment castings off, because if you don't, the couplings will just blow off this all the time. And once you lose your coupling to this, you lose your MAF and your car runs horrible. I have the Seems Legit Garage adapter on here for the throttle body from the E46 to the M50 manifold. And these are very important here. You do not want to cheap out on these. These are from B Racing Tuning. And when you go order injectors from him, you can choose what intake manifold you're running and he will send the correct spacing for them. So you can see I have this thin bottom spacer on here. Now, if you guys know, some of you guys may know this, but there's no lip inside these on the M50 manifold where your spacer is going to stop inserting into the manifold. So if you don't run this bottom spacer here, they can go way too far in there and then you can't pull them back out. And you can actually destroy your injector trying to pull them out, and then the part that breaks off the injector that retains the O-ring on the bottom of the injector will fall into your engine if you are trying to take your injectors out and running into that issue with the manifold installed. It's a nightmare. So this is crucial. There's people that for some reason don't buy these, I don't know, and then you hear them freak out because their injectors are trapped in their intake manifold. So I'm gonna go ahead and install these. I'm really not sure on spacing that will be needed. Once you do this and run these, you can kind of run any M50 universal fuel rail. There's a bunch of different types of fuel rails for these M50 manifolds. I'm gonna be using the stock fuel rail from wherever it's at. I don't know where I put it, from the 46. And it seems legit garage. When you buy their kit, it comes with these here. The only complaint with these is they're a little thin. Got the manifold together here, got the V-Racing injectors in here. They fit as they should. They're beautiful, everything's good there. And then I tried something. I've heard about this, but I wanted to test it on my own and make sure it wasn't just people doing something wrong. These are the Seems Legit Garage fuel rail adapter plates, brackets that they sell for the M54 fuel rail to M50 manifold. Now, if you guys, you may have already caught on or know about this, they get wavy, which I don't know if they still sell these with their kits or if they've changed it since. So not talking bad on Mike Dodge and them at all. I buy stuff from them a lot. I love their stuff. It's just, man, these are a hair too thin and they're kind of make me lose sleep at night. As we know, if your fuel rail isn't properly secured and you get some mist coming out the top caps here on the rail, it's probably gonna be on fire most likely, especially if it's mid-pull, the car's hot. So I did try these Seems Legit Garage brackets, tried them with different spacers, tried to space them perfectly, and they still started flexing. They actually bent really bad. This one you can kind of see after I took it off, it's still bent. Just from tightening the rail down. I mean, this car hasn't even ran yet. So another thing I did too that I noticed, you know, just giving these brackets a chance, is these upper tabs that they're using for these obviously are for the beauty cover for the stock M54 manifold. So they're just super thin and there's like 2 threads in them. So if you do get these tight or a little over tightened, the threads pull easy, super easy out of those. So I drilled those out and put a 10 mil nut on the bottom with red Loctite. I just wanted to show you guys this to be safe. I made some other brackets out of 3/16 stainless and I'll show you those, and they are about double the thickness of this, maybe more, because there's no reason to put all this money in your 20-year-old E46 for it to burn to the ground over these tiny brackets that are bolted to something that's not even supposed to hold the rail and is supposed to hold a plastic beauty cover. So I'm gonna get those brackets and go ahead and do the same thing with this Torx bolt. And you don't have to use a Torx bolt, it's just what I had. And in my eyes, it'll keep people from trying to remove that one and just to unbolt it from the manifold, because there's no reason to touch this area here. And then I'll keep the nut on the bottom just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that. Well, there we go. We went from those thin brackets to these right here, which are plenty thick. The brackets are actually pressing the rail down on all the injectors and allowing them to sit really well on the tops of the injectors there, where you can see they're flush and they're not at the rail's not at a weird angle versus the injector. And these brackets are thick enough to actually press them over the O-rings and not cause a weird angle or cause them to feel loose and spin super easy, because now they're pretty tight and they're seated in there well. And I highly recommend doing this. To fix all this, you would get a nuke rail or radium or any of those rails made for an M50 manifold, but then you wouldn't be able to use your stock line to the rail, which is, not only do we want to save money, but we were also just planning on using the stock fuel system and everything for this car, since it's not on a ton of power, and the stock rail would be enough for the power it's going to make, and so would the fuel system. So if you're going crazy, don't even bother with this rail. Just get the proper M50 one and do a AN line that goes to it instead. But this is way better, makes me feel way better. I mean, I can't even move this. Before, when I had the other brackets on there, I could flex this rail upwards with my fingers and see those brackets move. Did not like that, so just thought I'd add that in here. I got the beautiful charge pipe on the intake side from Jacob Rogers, B Racing Tuning. I'm gonna go ahead and get the ICV hooked up. I need to put a barb fitting in this threaded bung here for my fuel pressure regulator, which is right here. And then I need to put the MAF in. Speaking of MAF, we'll be using a MAF from B Racing. And he sells his own custom made harnesses for that MAF that plugs right into the stock harness, and then there's a ground on it that reaches right here and will ground on the stud that there's no use for anymore other than that. So it works out perfectly. You guys probably seen me use the B Racing harnesses for my mass airflow sensors in my other 4 cars I've showed on the channel. Another thing I can't forget is I need to get a vacuum line to my booster. I gotta do that yet. Enough manifold talk. Here is our fuel pump we'll be using, DW200. This car will just be on 93 octane. Nothing crazy, no crazy boost. So setting it up right where we can use stock wiring, stock fuse, that kind of stuff. Now, what's your guys' opinions on using butt connectors? Well, at least these have, I think these are the heat shrink ones. I gotta look. The sleeve to hold this. So do it right, do it once. Buy the sleeve clamps down and it holds your pump, and then it basically changes this pump size, the actual size of the pump, into the size of a stock pump with this lip here that pops down into the hanger that actually holds it. So that's the idea of this. It just makes this fit into the hanger like a stock pump. All right, there is the sending unit. Everything's together. It's crazy. Sometimes when you get these out, how kind of wonky they look. But all together, you can see the sleeve in there that holds the fuel pump that allows it to click into the stock sending unit. Beautiful piece. I'm gonna go ahead. I did use the butt connectors and shrink them down with heat gun, and that's fine. I didn't want them touching. I actually had a car once where the 2 butt connectors were touching, and I guess due to the fuel, they melted together and shorted out. That was on a car I bought off a marketplace that happened to, so that was pretty crazy. So now when I do fuel pumps, I just make sure they're never gonna touch each other, keep them far apart like that. But other than that, this is the kit that comes with this DW fuel pump, just as it's meant to be used. So I'm gonna go ahead and install it, and we are done. All right, do not do this. This is part of the video that you don't do. Don't put a jumper pack on here that's plugged directly into the wall. Barely making enough for the program to flash onto the ECU while you tune it. And also don't run these little lawnmower batteries, please. That's not for what these cars are calling for. But yeah, we gotta listen to that thing beep, because not only is the jump pack freaking out because the voltage is low, but we're also tuning this puppy while it's not too low. It won't let you tune it if it's too low, so we don't have to worry about that. Just don't do this. Don't do this. Using the B Racing tuning right here, I showed you guys a million times. Their flasher. Minecraft will not work for this, unfortunately. Even though I do love Minecraft and I'm 26 years old, but that is just OG game. But besides that, flash and tune on here right now, and we'll see if this thing starts. Got to put the full file on here, EWS delete and all that, because, well, we don't have the same ECU in it any longer, as you guys know, so. It's like it gets ready to fire. It's like, it might not be getting spark. I think it's an ignition problem. I know that sometimes, like, there's certain harnesses, ignition coil harnesses, that you can like swap over that are weird, and they'll throw like 20 codes if they're wrong. And I just scanned codes. I'm getting a lot of codes, but I remembered I didn't reset adaptions. I did like earlier, but I did it again. We'll try again here before I dig into the harness. Okay, so I threw a different harness on it that I had just to try this. I hate this clutch switch. I hate it. All right, threw another tune on it. This is the second tune from B Racing. First one got our EWS deleted and got the car to start, but now we needed to run a little better and decide on if this is something on my end or if it's tune related. So we're gonna start with the second tune. Battery's not happy. Holy smokes. Oh, no, no. All right. That's promising. That's promising. Because before we were pinned out at 22. So that's looking good. This is a cold start. All right, let's walk around this thing. Make sure nothing crazy is happening now that it'll run. Got the car out of the garage. That last clip you probably saw this car was running. So I was able to finally get it outside. What a good feeling. Even though it's not my car, it's such a good feeling just to have your garage opened up and everything, and the car that's been sitting in there for so long out. Now we'll take a look at this. Ignore this. This isn't my doing. And these are from getting this set up so I could read this super old LC1 AFR gauge. That was a lot of fun. Didn't realize those were like 2007 technology. Never even messed with one. So there's everything in the daylight. Looks mostly stock. That's the idea of this kit. This hood will not stay up. I'm gonna go ahead. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna get this thing shut and then throw the tune on it to actually go drive this car on the street. So we know it idles. We got the idle tune figured out. That way I could at least drive it out of the garage. You know, that's where you start off. But hopefully this thing works. I hope. Fire this thing up on the new tune. Also, it's like 30 degrees out here, so that's excellent. Yep. Yes, I have to jump it off the 7 Series, tune it on the 7 Series, all that. Hopefully when he comes pick it up, he's supposed to be bringing a new battery. This thing's cooked. So I got the new tune on there. It is 30 degrees out, but this battery still should work, obviously. Not a very good excuse. But this is a true cold start. One thing I'm worried about is he doesn't have the filter deal under the cowl. I guess it's at his house, and it rained the past 2 days, so if you guys own E46, you know what that means. Yeah, it's missing from that. I guarantee it. Oh man, that's a flex. But it's running good now. You heard that cold start, and it was missing because, well, would you know it, you don't have the filter tray under there to catch the water and drain it. Look at that ice in there. Yeah. So don't be like that. Make sure you put that in there. But it looks good. Looks really good. I don't have a bumper for it. He has that. This also looks good. You hear these injectors ticking away. I don't know what the deal is with that. Nothing wrong with them. They're just loud. I don't have the cover over it to quiet it down. So that's kind of my fault. Okay, we're at our 14.7. Almost warm here. Still kind of cold. It came out of its misfire from the ice all over the valve cover, so that's cool. We're gonna get ROM Raider open here. So some of you guys may not know the deal on all this, so we're not gonna get too into it, but obviously you have your input cable, going to your OBD2, and then you have this serial cable here. This is a USB to serial. It's reading off of this Innovate LC1. And then you want to go to ROM Raider here. Now you don't want to have your flasher open when you open ROM Raider, because they do not get along at all, and it'll never say it's connected to the car. So make sure everything's closed. Oops, don't press yes on that or you bring it to their website. Okay. See, teaching you guys. Oh, the noise of the car just changed. I think we're there. We're at our 14.7. You can just tell by ear. Beautiful sound too, especially if you ever struggled to get a car to idle there. All right, so everything's coming up. Yep, there's our wideband reading. That's also a huge accomplishment, because depending on what wideband setup you have, there's sometimes a bear, especially if it's 20 years old like this one. Okay, so we just want to make sure that we're gonna pick an output location. I just throw them on the desktop. Yeah. All right, we're gonna go drive this thing and get some logs. We'll do a slight pull here. I don't know what's gonna happen. I may have to let out if it goes lean. Yeah, hair lean. Sounds good though. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing that. Don't do that, boys. Don't do that. Now, we only are hitting a few pounds here, but looks like I saw 13. This is why we're logging. This is why we're logging. So I'm gonna turn it around and go send this to Jules. All right, we're out here on the road with this latest tune, which I believe it is the one. I'm not gonna lie, I did a pull there before I started recording, and it seems like I can finally go wide open with this car. Here, do a hit. Feels amazing though, for the amount of boost it's on. Originally, but it's the freaking tires. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry I was so late on that upload and I didn't have a ton of in-car footage of that. It was not my car, and when you get done with the project for someone, I'm not going to sit here and beat the crap out of it, so I just drive them enough. But what you're seeing here is hopefully the next engine, turbo build, PPF, beautiful manifold, and pretty big turbo. I mean, I know it's not like crazy, but I appreciate you guys, the ones that still stick around, and I apologize for the delays in uploads, but thank you, and please like it and subscribe. I never say that.